Hey, what's up guys? Towels here with another Project Diablo 2 video. I hope you guys are all enjoying the Crafters League. I think it's been so much fun and really interesting. The game's definitely much harder, especially trying to remember how to play Sorc on day one to tele for my group. It was definitely an experience. I'm pretty sure I led the ladder in deaths, but we got through it. And in this video, I'm filming this on day four and want to go over some updates, some thoughts on the league overall. I'll go through my gear and some, but first we'll start off with this quick highlight video. So yeah, here I am on my Meteor Sorceress. Again, this was just because my group needed a teleport for the season start. And I knew if I was going to run Sorceress, then it would be Meteor for the fire and fizz damage, because then you're not really worried about any immunes throughout the game. Another unintended bonus that I wasn't aware of before was that Blaze gives CBF, and I totally forgot about that part. So cannot be frozen being so difficult to find in this league. Blaze is really, really nice for that. So the way that Blaze works is you cast it. It's got a very short timer on it. So a lot of the time I'm basically going Meteor, 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 Blaze, and just making sure I recast that. So even if I forget and I do happen to get cold for a little bit, it does help a lot of the time. And so really great, like, unexpected bonus on that. It's definitely been a popular build as well, so some of the gear and especially the charms race is really intense for it. I do feel like I'm losing on that front. I've got my one skiller here. I've got two skillers at the moment, but luckily I was able to secure an Annihilus charm as well as a Hellfire Torch pretty early on. I primarily paid, okay, so I did find an Ohm rune on day one, and that was definitely part of the package when I was trying to buy these. But the other main thing that I really lucked out with as well was that I just happened to be collecting full rejuves anyway. So when I saw the first couple torches hit the market, folks were really low on full rejuves as well as gold. So that was really tough in the very season start. So a lot of the bossers were looking for boss materials as well as full rejuves, because they want to run them on repeat, obviously, for profits and all that. So being able to help them run more, I guess, was really vital for it. So that being said, I was able to get these just at the end of day one. I think it might have been the very start of day two. But yeah, really huge for helping, obviously, play through the rest of Hell. The reason why I showed Glacial Trail briefly before was for fire builds, this is an incredible place to go farm. Okay, except for Moonlords. If you see one, essentially just save and exit at that point. But the rest of the mobs on the map are not fire immune. They're actually quite squishy. I'll have some footage of the runs that I've done there at the end of this video also. But getting into my gear now, again, this is the start of day 4 as I'm recording this, so this is basically a random sorcerer's orb. I've had no luck crafting these so far, but this did slam with minus fire res, and so I actually got this for free from somebody in one of my Hell Bale games. So they weren't using it, and it's good enough for me to use. So hopefully I'll get more luck on this front shortly coming up. This tiara, though, this one I got just today, and I did manage to puzzle box it for 2. I did find that puzzle box, I think, early day 2 as well, so definitely lucky to have found that, and lucky that it worked out. So the faster run walk really does help here as well, because Blaze adds faster run walk, and then especially in the couple of maps that I've done so far, teleporting is way too dangerous. You're very squishy in this game. If you've played, I'm sure you noticed, without your typical uniques and rune words and stuff, it's pretty hard to hit res and a decent life pool and all that stuff. But having items like this definitely helps a lot. This blood amulet was super lucky as well. Is my second bloodcraft actually managed to hit this. It was this and a +2 Amazon amulet that was really good as well. I keep forgetting, I keep messing up getting all the clips in correctly, but this one I'm a little scared, a little hesitant to slam, even though I currently do have a backup, but I'm gonna leave it as such for a bit. The safety bone shield, it's really just res and 9 PDR. It came with 2 sockets, and that obviously helps a ton for res when you can just pop in the runes for it. And this is essentially all I need it for at this point, because another really nice thing about Meteor is that the FCR really doesn't matter very much. It's not hard to get FCR, obviously, but you see I'm at a 63 breakpoint, which just hardly matters because Meteor has a cooldown. These gloves, just 10 FCR gloves with some res on them, basically, can definitely improve there. This FCR ring, honestly, would be better suited for a summons on, so if anyone is interested in buying this, by all means hit me up. I think I can find a better home for this, essentially, because they can use the attack rating as well as the life leech. Res, obviously good all around, but summons-ons need FCR as well, so if you've played it, you know how slow it is to actually summon. It's very frustrating, so this is a decent option for that, I think. This FCR belt has faster hit recovery and tri-res on it, so it took a long time to craft anything decent here, and I just haven't gone back to get a backup so I can start slamming it, but that's how it is right now. This FCR ring I got from Ormus sometime along the playthrough, so slammed with 3 mana after kill was very nice. Yeah, item level 21. There you go. So it was probably Norm. Okay. And then this Bountiful Greaves. Again, I just haven't crafted a decent pair of these really yet, so the light res I don't even actually need. I have a couple of 30 faster run walk and single res boots with MF, so eventually I'll get better there too. And then in the highlights video, I think maybe you saw this one. 3 open sockets, 160 damage, 97 to life. Unfortunately, the PDR rolled the minimum 5%. It would have been really nice to have more on there, but I can't complain. This is a really happy one. I am thinking now about what my next character is going to be, some kind of physical character, so I'm going to hold on to this for now and just wait for that. In the same crafting session, I also managed to make this safety light plate as well, so you can see that in the highlights too. 126 ED, slammed for 17 all res. It has the 9% PDR on it, so really nice as well. If anyone's interested, holler. And this amp bow too. So day 1, we all had to deal with the Act 1 Merc bug, the Mercenary bug that was affecting everyone. But if you did complete Bloodraven, she would give you the Act 1 Mercenary. So mine happened to roll Meditation, which was really nice at the time, especially for teleporting. And then the 60 IAS on this. So it's natural 40 IAS. It came with 1 socket also, unfortunately, but the 60 IAS is real nice. The 10% chance to cast 23 Amplify is the lower version of it. There's also the 1231 version of that roll, but it's still really good for breaking immunities. So this was a really fun one to be able to use as well. And then the rest of my luck has really been focused on jewelry. So this ring I managed to find is, I think at the beginning of day 3 or something like that. But the 201 attack rating is actually 2 attack rating rolls combined, and that's just huge. So it's not as easy to get attack rating in this, again, just, by virtue of it being a rare and craft only league, but this one's a real nice one. The 8 life leech is really nice to have such a high roll on as well, and then the 2 resists. Along that same vein, we've got a 13 min damage, 88 attack rating. This had light res already, and then it slammed with even more light res. PLR not really super important on this, but 29 MF is pretty sweet, I think. Obviously, you're not looking to stack tons of MF, but having some along the way has definitely increased my rare items drops, which obviously rare items can be very good too, so nice to have there too. Another 13 min one. This has a lot less attack rating and then some res. This one's got 14 max, a little attack rating. 27 life is not bad, 27 light res not bad. Unfortunately, I slammed a 3 MAEK, so being a caster stat, that's just really not that helpful of a mix, but still not a bad ring to start with. And then here's actually my backup amulet. This one I did buy. I think I traded some crafting materials for it. Oh, this tiara, by the way, I did buy for 20 Sol runes. So honestly, a great deal, I think, but not having any sockets in it, it was kind of risky, I guess, on my part to use a puzzle box for it. But yeah, luckily it worked out. And so on my mercenary, the highlight is really going to be this axe that I found. So this one does have the max 12% to cast level 31 amplify damage. So that's the best roll you can get on that. And then in addition, a little bit of enhanced damage goes a long way for it. Also, the rest of his stuff is essentially safety gear. So he reaches 39% damage reduced. So that definitely helps him keep him alive. The other thing that keeps him alive is also just that Meteor does a really good job of putting enemies into hit recovery. And so I'm pretty much just spamming Meteor right on top of him as much as I can. And that definitely helps him as well. Oh yeah, and a 10% PDR belt too. First one of the only belt I found with PDR so far. These gloves, really it's just the res on them. The IAS doesn't even matter for Whirlwind. And then some kind of random boots as well. The nice thing about the Whirlwind Barb Merc is that it also casts Battle Cry. So it's really nice to be able to have those to stack as well to really reduce the enemy physical resistances. So when he feels like casting Battle Cry, you'll see you can actually have both effects on, in which case that's a very significant amount of enemy physical resistance reduced to help with the Meteor damage. Especially because without any, like I have a lower res wand on swap, but I hardly use it just because lower res does not break fire immunes by and large. Almost any mobs that are naturally fire immune are not going to get broken by this. So it's really much more helpful that I have amp, and yeah, even in a regular league, I think I would prefer having amp. Okay, and then stats and damage wise, it's strength to equip, max vit. I've used one respec so far because during teleport I was kind of maxing teleport essentially. I had almost no DPS, so it's just a teleport bot. And then my Meteor is currently at 7k to about 8.5k. My resistances are pretty good now. When I started Hell and was running Glacial Trail straight out of Hell, that was much lower before, but it was still pretty smooth runs. So Glacial Trail being level 83 area, it's tons of really good experience, and so the levels are really fast at that point. I think it was like level 65 to level 75 or something like that, all pretty much just through glacial runs. So Nightmare Cows and Glacial Trail. So another thing I wanted to point out, just like looking in my inventory, one thing that I think is going to start happening is that more of a focus on crafting bases is going to come around, because it seems like a lot of folks are really kind of getting the materials that they need. Obviously, Tur runes are still super valuable. It's easy trading those if you're willing to give them up. But in general, also, there's other things that I think are starting to find a little bit more focus on too. So any class-specific items like Paladin shields and Barbarian helmets, they drop less frequently. So these are things that I've started to collect, and I think the market will start turning around on those a little bit because there hasn't been too much interest since the beginning. But yeah, having Druid pelts, Druid clubs, these drop very often, so I don't think I'll ever be able to sell them, but probably just end up giving them away to somebody on Discord. And then obviously ethereal weapons, right? Eth bases are super good. That's kind of just what you want for your end game items, in addition to your reflex bow, which upgrades to Grand Matron bow. That's just the best damage base available, and so that's why you'll see a lot of multi-shot zones looking specifically for that. Even though IAS is actually a lot tougher now because you don't have fanaticism on your Merc, but so I think there's some room for faster bases also, but just out of is what folks are used to. I think GMBs are still going to hold a lot of value. So for Fury Druid specifically, the Gothic Axe is maybe the best in slot for it, but essentially what you're looking for is a big two-hander with a fast attack speed, and so you can see this base speed is -10, which is really fast for a big two-hander. So it's the same as the Thresher, so pretty similar for that. One thing to note is that for Fury weapons, it's pretty good to still just craft with non-ethereal ones too, because what you need is ED and IAS, and then if you're expecting a repair mod on it as well, that's going to be just a very tall order to get, and Zods I think are not that common yet. And then finally with this Ogre Maul, the reason why I want to show this is because one thing that I think folks don't necessarily think about is that if you find a non-ethereal base, if it's already an elite version of it, though, I think it's very much worth picking up and crafting with, because yes, you can buy a lot of the normal and sometimes exceptional versions from vendors, but then you need to use the upgrade runes like Fal and an rune in order to make an item elite at that point. And so runes are so rare and expensive and so valuable at this point. Pull runes too as well. So those recipes for upgrades are essentially just really expensive at this point. So if you do find an elite base that drops either blue or yellow, definitely pick that up and go ahead and craft with it. Even if there's a version of it that's available at vendors commonly, it's really good to have. And then finally, anytime you're deciding on bases to craft, you want to look for just like what is the best damage, what is the fastest base, what is the best mix of strength and defense, right? So mage plates are very popular for that reason because of the low strength requirement on them. War Dart is an example of it is the single fastest base available. It's got low damage, yes, but it's really helpful in terms of attack frames, because if it can help you reach a faster attack speed breakpoint with throw barb, like the number of throws that you can do per second goes up dramatically, and that is a big boost to DPS in the end. And here is a page of Necromancer heads, so these are useful for crafting as well. Good to hold on to. My page of full rejuves, page and a half of full rejuves, and something I might have a slam video coming up as well. So that's pretty much the gear. Again, I'm thinking about getting into some bossing soon as well. Have not done any of that yet. Definitely thinking about a second physical character as well, so trying to decide which one of those I want. I just haven't been able to craft any decent weapons as of yet, but we will get there. Alright, and that's pretty much the gear and the drops up till now. I will leave you guys on some footage of this Hell Rush that I recently completed. It's definitely a little dicey, but it's pretty fun to do. He also asked really good questions along the way, so if you do feel like watching, hope you enjoy. But as always, hope you guys liked the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you guys are excited for the rest of this Crafters League as I am, and you're having a good time as well. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.
can't carry anymore.
Not even death can save you from me.
Not here.